Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself, 14 miles southeast of the city centre, has been home to the US Grand Prix since 2012, the latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. We have 10 turns to the left and 10 turns to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and turn 12 at this anti-clockwise track. It's 3.6 miles long and we should see average lap speeds of around 126 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Piastri, Yuki Tsunoda, Hughes, Sainz, Stroll, Leclerc, and George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Antonelli, Alex Albon, and Gasly, Lawson, Hadjar, Ollie Behrman, and Jack Doohan. Bortoletto and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Fala, amigos, como estão? Tudo certo? Então voltamos aí hoje para a corrida, né? O sprint já foi uma belíssima performance ali, o nosso carro estava muito bom, apesar de alguns deslizes com algumas saídas de traseiras, até porque ele estava meio arisco. Eu fiz alguns ajustes antes do qualifying para a corrida, então a gente deu uns cliques ali nas asas para ele entrar melhor de curva. Diminuir um pouquinho ali o diferencial de aceleração e desaceleração para diminuir também um pouco as saídas de traseira. Ainda acontece, mas com menos frequência, né? A gente consegue sair um pouco mais forte, tracionar mais forte aí nas saídas de curva. E diferente ali da sprint, a gente conseguiu um P6, tá? Aí no qualifying foi um carro bem consistente ali na volta, né? Impossível de pegar a Red Bull do Verstappen, ele, né? Eu em sexto, o cara conseguiu colocar um segundo em mim, para vocês terem uma ideia, mas todos ficaram ali na casa de 1,34, menos o Verstappen que ficou na casa de 1,33,7. Gente, então é isso, a gente vai ver o que vai conseguir fazer aí no começo da corrida. Acredito que a gente possa cair algumas posições, porque o nosso carro tá com um arrasto aerodinâmico um pouco maior por conta dos cliques nas asas que eu dei, então a gente ainda tem muita reta, tá? Muita reta, mas nas curvas a gente tá uma perdida ainda por esse motivo, tá? Então vamos lá, vamos ver o que a gente consegue na corrida e vejo vocês aí no final. Valeu!
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
again. Try to keep focus. Okay, we've got a full course caution. The safety car's out. Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down, maintain positive delta. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace. Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately. Gabrielle coming in for his stop now. Okay, we're coming up to the safety car now. Do not pass it, you are the leader. Follow the safety car. Behind's just boxed for mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre now. Okay, let's catch up to the field a bit. We're dropping too far back. Remember, we need to stay within 10 car lengths of the next car. up the pace a touch, please. We need to close to within 10 car lengths of the car ahead. That's P1. Norris is behind you. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums. Your pit window opens in 5 laps time. 5 laps. Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. You'll be controlling the pace on the restart. Keep it steady until the safety cars reach the pit lane. Tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online. Okay, mate, Verstappen behind you now. We want to keep them behind, please. It's critical for our race. Look, listen, don't worry about it. It's a long way to go, so let's just focus until the end. Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Okay, we're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs. window's open, so let's box this lap, box this lap. There's a new strategy available on the MFD. Okay, 1 stop to go, just 1 stop left in this strategy. Okay, off we go, back into the race. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, gap to the car in front, 9.3 seconds. Still looking good. Gap ahead, 7.6 seconds. got some clear track in front of us, and let's make the best of it. So please make this next one a very fast lap. It looked like you made easy work of that target. Let's try and keep that going right through to the end of the race. And gap to the car in front. Ahead of you. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 2.5 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Their tyres are 12 laps old. Time last lap, 1 minute 41.3. You're gaining by 1.6 seconds a lap. Keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 1.6 seconds. green flag. Started the final lap of the race. Final lap. Suggest this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Race over, take care of the car on the way in.
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And it's always good, Crofty, to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
From lights out to the checkered flag, each and every driver has this moment in the back of their mind. Now it's time for their celebrations. Our podium, it awaits. But there can only be one on the top step. Your number one, Max Verstappen. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Isso aí então, pessoal. Realmente eu fiz uma estratégia errada. Deveria ter entrado junto com o safety car ali. Se eu não tivesse batido com o Verstappen naquela disputa de curva foi culpa minha. Na verdade, eu virei, fechei muito ele, e ele acabou jogando o carro por cima de mim na tangência da curva. Então acabou sendo um erro meu, né? E acabei quebrando a asa. Se eu não quebrar a asa, talvez eu buscava um P10 ainda, mesmo com pneu macio, porque a gente no final chega próximo ali da fileira de carros, né? Só que a gente já chega com o pneu muito gasto e no final da corrida ainda deu pra pegar uma posição. E a gente viu uma McLaren quebrando ainda, né? O Lando Norris quebrou. E foi só isso. Infelizmente a gente sai de uma boa sexta posição para um 18º, mas no geral o final de semana dá um 11º para nós. Vou deixar vocês aí com destaque e daqui a pouco eu volto. Então é isso, pessoal. Como vocês viram ali, a disputa com o Verstappen foi muito boa, foi bem legal mesmo. Eu com os pneus mais velhos e eles já com os pneus novos, né? Mas é aquilo, disputar com o Verstappen, ele vai jogar o carro por cima. A IA daqui é bem interessante, por quê? Porque os pilotos realmente são agressivos em certas tangências de curva ali. Eu tava disputando lado a lado com ele. Era eu tirar o carro ou eu ia me quebrar. Eu realmente não sou de tirar o carro, não tirei o carro, ele me jogou longe, né? E aí eu fui para as profundezas do inferno depois do pit lane, mas ainda consegui buscar dois pilotos ali. Um porque quebrou e o outro porque é ruim mesmo, né? Que é o Leon Lawson. Então, né, a gente não precisa falar muita coisa. Então, pessoal, é isso, tá? Vou deixar aqui a classificação do campeonato para vocês. Max Verstappen mais do que campeão já, né? Nós aí com 130 pontos ainda, porque não conseguimos mais pontuar aqui no Texas. Então é isso, pessoal. Espero que vocês tenham gostado da corrida aí. Me desculpe por não ter conseguido chegar na zona de pontos. Isso acontece, né? Não é sempre que a gente vai estar lá em cima. Imprevistos acontecem na corrida. Mas é isso. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Deixem o like aí, se inscrevam se puder, tá bom? Vejo vocês aí na próxima corrida. Valeu!